on a day-to-day basis, I was so unmotivated. I would drag myself to work. I felt like I was carrying out someone else's purpose instead of carrying out my own purpose. Things just started falling apart, right? Hey, you guys. So today we are here to talk about some real life stuff, okay? How can we live the lives of our dreams? We're on this earth for a certain period of time, and a lot of us, I know it was me, at one point I'm like, how do I get to live the life that I actually want? How do we create success in a practical, logical way? So I just wanted to come on and share some things that I feel I have learned along my journey that may be able to help some of you guys out there. No fluff, no filter. I'm gonna give it to you straight, okay? And I was inspired to make this video actually because a subscriber sent me a message. So it says, "Hey Kim, I've been watching your videos for a while now and I love your content. However, I wanted to ask, how did you get into working for yourself? Outside of vlogging, what do you do? I am still young and want to create that same space for myself and children. The freedom to do what I want, go whenever I want. I have a hard time having the finances because the 9 to 5 still just isn't enough. If you could do a vlog on that topic, it would be great." And I was like, girl, yes, I can definitely do a video on this topic. And I'm so passionate about it because sometimes I wish that I had someone to go to at certain points in my life to ask these things too. I've gotten to the place that I've gotten now, which is a life that I feel fulfilled, where I feel happy, where I'm able to do and go wherever I please, whenever I please, within reason. You know, I do have responsibilities, but to live a life that I've always dreamed of. And I've had some lumps and bumps along the way because of the fact that I really didn't have any mentors. I really didn't have anyone to look to as far as this is the path that I should take in order to live this type of lifestyle. I didn't have anyone in my life that I saw doing the things that I wanted to do. So I know how hard that can be to navigate, trying to figure out how do I get to where I want to go, especially when I don't see it around me. And sometimes that can make it seem out of reach or out of touch, but I want to let you guys know it is certainly not out of reach. And I just want to do my part, whatever that could be, to inspire and to help others. So let's take it back a little bit, okay? Because I have to give a little background so you guys understand kind of where I started. Younger me, I really didn't have lofty goals. I basically just wanted to live a comfortable life. I wanted to go to college, get a degree, get a decent job where I could support myself, support my child. I had one child at the time, where I could be financially independent, buy a house eventually, and really that was it. Live out my days in relative happiness, I guess. I really didn't have big goals or big dreams at the time, right? So I went to college. I got a degree in business management. The only reason why I picked that degree is because I really didn't know what career path I should take, what career path might work best for me and my personality and my strengths. I went into it blindly and I just picked something that I thought would be easy enough to attain and that would also translate into several different sectors of businesses. Like, it wouldn't limit me so much. And I felt like no matter what industry I went into, I wanted to be a boss. That was my goal, my big goal. So I was like, okay, business management, I want to be a manager somewhere. A few months after graduation, I got my first, well, my only big girl job in corporate America. This is a sidebar. The funny part is I never even applied to this job, okay? And so when I was contacted by the recruiter person for the company, I'm like, what are you talking about? At first I thought it was a scam, right? Because I never applied. I didn't know what this lady was talking about. And I'm like, but how did you find me? How did you get my information? And she was like, oh, I found your resume on this job posting website. So they actually found me and called me in to interview for this position. Now the position was for a management trainee program. And this interview process took about a month, maybe 2 months. It was very intensive. So I had to meet with many different people over many different occasions. And I don't know how, because this is an industry that I had no experience in whatsoever. It was a national company within the commercial plumbing sector. I knew nothing about plumbing. I knew nothing about any of that type of stuff. So this was like a crapshoot, but I just went for it because I'm like, if I actually get this job, it would put me in a position where I want to be. I want to be a head person, the head honcho of some business, right? As fate would have it, I did get the job and I started working for this company in the management trainee program. So it was about a 2-year program. And during this time, they had me do basically basically every job that I would be overseeing once I became a manager. So I had to work in the warehouse, I had to work in inside sales, I had to work in outside sales, I had to work in the estimating department. All these different departments I had to work in for several months at a time, just so I could know how the job should be done, so I could be a good manager once that time came. So that was that. And at first, I was in shock and awe that I even landed this position because, number one, there are very few women at the time. I don't know about now because I've been out of it for a while, but at the time, there were very few women in that industry, and there were no female managers within my company, and it was a massive company, right? And I was just like, that's about to be me. I can't believe it. This was like a huge accomplishment for me just to be in that position. And by the way, I was one of the youngest as well. So most of the people, most of my colleagues at the two branches that I worked at, they were like twice my age. I was much, much younger than the average person that worked there. The job included a lot of business travel as well. We would go on events with customers like NASCAR races and NCAA games, and we would have all of these events like golfing events, things that I had never experienced before in my life. That just was not part of my upbringing, right? I had never been exposed to this type of lifestyle. Like most of the managers, especially the regional managers, they came from money. Like you could tell these are the type of people that like to go golfing. They have a golf club membership. They wear smoking jackets, you know, that type of demographic. So just me being around that, I was in awe, but it also opened my eyes to a certain type of lifestyle that I could have. And I actually did a vlog video when I first started making YouTube videos way back in the day. I was working at that job, and if I can find it and download it, I'm going to insert a clip here so you can see just a little bit of me back then.
Hey guys, it's me, Kim. Okay, so today I'm here with kind of like a roll with me day video. I'm actually in Mississippi. The reason why I'm here is because my company sent me here. We have acquired another company, so I'm basically here to go on to one of the branches, meet with the people there, tell them a little bit about, you know, how we do things, our processes, answer any of their questions, stuff like that. I'm actually really excited to be here because I've never gotten a chance to work on an acquisition. I've worked on an intercompany merge before, but I've never done an acquisition, so this is kind of new for me and it's very exciting. I just want to see, you know, what they think. Okay, so I'm done my walkthrough. Everything went well. I will be back in the morning to do my official work.
So in that clip, I had to go to a different state. We were doing an acquisition. So I went down to help that branch with the acquisition. So that was what that vlog was about. So there were a lot of interesting facets to being in the position that I was in. I will say that they did an excellent job in this program, just teaching me the fundamentals of plumbing and also teaching me the ins and outs of the business. But as time went on, my joy and enthusiasm for this position started to dwindle. I started to feel unmotivated. I started to feel dread going into the office. When I got towards the end of the program, I realized just how much pressure there is on the managers. And there was this one guy who had gone through the trainee program just like I was going through it. And he decided at the end that he didn't want to be a manager. He just wanted to work in the warehouse. And at the time when I first met him, I thought that was absolutely nuts. Like, why would you choose to work in a warehouse as opposed to being the top dog at the branch? Why would you choose that? I understand now. Let's just say that. I understand now. And once the realization of all that I would have to be responsible for sunk in, it was like a ton of bricks. It was like everything was weighing on me. I was in a funk. I was majorly stressed on a regular basis. And even being in the position that I was in, I hadn't even taken over a branch yet. Even in being in my position, I felt so much pressure of the expectations to perform and to live up to these benchmarks that were set for me. But in the back of my mind, I'm feeling like, you should feel lucky to be here. You don't know anyone else who has such a fancy job, who's able to go to these swanky nice events and be able to go on business trips and things of this nature at your age. I didn't know anyone else who was doing things like that. And I'm like, I should be grateful, right? I should be happy. And that started to become part of my identity. It started to make me feel like I was actually somebody, that I was actually doing something, you know, something that I could be proud of. But I couldn't shake the fact that I just didn't find joy in this job anymore. The glitz and the glam kind of wore off. Like every once in a while, I would be like, oh, this is cool. I get to do this, I get to do that. But on a day-to-day basis, I was so unmotivated. I would drag myself to work. I felt like I was carrying out someone else's purpose instead of carrying out my own purpose. And that really started to weigh heavily on me. And then towards the end, it started to seem like things just started falling apart, right? So I thought I was making good money. I had a salary, we got bonuses. I also had a car allowance. Like, I didn't know anyone who had a freaking car allowance. I had a car allowance, you guys. I could have also chosen to get a company car, but I chose the allowance because I already had a car. It was pretty new, and I'm like, just give me the money. So I thought I was rolling in dough, okay? Well, that is until I started looking for houses. And I was looking in the area around, you know, where I was gonna get my branch. Come to find out, I could not afford any like decent modern house on my salary. It was just not happening. I was going to open houses, and the houses that I was looking at that I would have to even stretch to afford in that area, it was a high cost of living area. They were just subpar. They looked like shacks. They just didn't live up to my standards. And I'm like, oh no, this is not going to work. So it just hit me in the face that I am not getting paid enough, especially for the amount of stress that I'm constantly under. So at that point, I started to think maybe I'm being underpaid. Okay, I'm being underpaid because this is just not in line with the cost of living in this area. So that was a wake-up call. Then I actually graduated from the management trainee program, but I was kind of in limbo because they were trying to figure out which branch to assign me to as the manager. So they were like, well, just stay put at the branch that you had trained at and we'll figure out where we're gonna place you. So I was there for months. There was some talk about going to this one particular branch. The issue with that was there was already a manager at that branch, and I had knew the manager, I had worked with him, and I didn't necessarily see him as a friend or someone I was close to, but the way that I had seen takeovers go when they replaced the branch managers, it wasn't pretty, it wasn't nice, and it really just didn't sit right with me on a moral level, coupled with the fact that at the time I really wanted to buy a house. I was tired of being in apartments. I really don't do well in apartment living, but that I couldn't afford a house on my salary in that area. I asked for a transfer to another region. They set me up with an interview at another region and a location that I wanted to be in. That interview went horribly. It went so bad. I met with the regional manager. I did not like him. I don't think he liked me. I went to one of the branches there, met with the crew there. We were just tolerating each other. It was just not good. And I was like, this is not gonna work either. So after that transfer didn't go through, it was very clear to me that I had to make a decision. Do I stay in this place where I am no longer happy, where I am no longer feeling fulfilled? I'm realizing more and more that this idea of working this fancy dream job in corporate America with this nice title, do I actually want that? Is that actually how I want my life to be? And basically being an overseer on relationships within your branch. And y'all, managing grown-ups is, oh my goodness, it's worse than managing children. Did I want that to be my life for years and years and years and years? Did I want to work all year long, get 2 weeks of vacation to let my hair down just a little bit and then jump right back into it until I was 65 years old and then retire? And then maybe at that point I could enjoy my life. If I'm not old and raggedy and rickety and beat down from all the stress of the job. Did I want to do that? No. And being in that corporate structured space, no matter how much I tried, it was not for me. I felt like a caged bird. I wanted to spread my wings. I wanted to truly be able to live my life, feel this sense of freedom and accomplishment of my own, and not having, trudging along, building up somebody else's and still feeling underappreciated, undervalued, underpaid, things like that. So that was it. I was like, there's no turning back. I have to do this because this is just, it doesn't feel right to me anymore. Even though logically it might have seemed like I was jumping the gun or I was being impulsive. So I made the choice to quit. And it was so funny because when I put in my 2 weeks, everyone was shocked. I mean, obviously I was next up in line to inherit a branch. Nobody expected me to walk away from that. The manager there at the time, he's like, well, we'll offer you more money. We'll do this and this and this. And I'm just like, I'm not taking it. Once you say you're leaving, that's it. I'm not about to be like, okay. No, like I'm gone, I'm good. And that was the end of me working in corporate America, me giving up my dream job. It was a very big thing for me in my life, but I knew I had to do it. You guys, once I did that, my life took off in ways that I could not have even imagined. I am so much happier now. So with that being said, can y'all see like my face is lighting up now? Like when I was talking about that, it kind of put me in a down state. Whew, once I got out of that, y'all, I felt like I could breathe again. So that's the background in a nutshell. So to get back to the question at hand, how did you get into working for yourself outside of vlogging? What do you do? All right, so how did I get into working for myself? First things first, I was pursuing my passion while I was working my 9-to-5 job. Pursuing my passion, of course, was making YouTube videos. Now, when I first started, I wasn't getting paid. I wasn't looking to get paid. I was just doing it because I loved to do it, okay? And that's one thing. Think about what you would do just on your own, even if you never got paid a dime. What are those things that you are drawn to? What makes you happy? What fires you up inside? What does that look like? So if you're trying to make a change in your life, you don't know which direction to go in, start there, okay? Start there. Trust me. That's where I started. I started making videos about the things that I was passionate about at the time. I started out doing makeup videos that transitioned into fashion and natural hair videos and things of that nature. Again, when I started, I wasn't expecting to get paid. I was doing it because I absolutely just loved it, and it was a creative outlet for me. So whenever I had spare time, I would film a video, make content. Now, again, like I said, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anyone who was in the YouTube space or in the creative content space that I could look up to or call on and say, well, should I do this? Should I do that? I figured a lot of things out via trial and error, just going through the motions and going towards the direction of what felt right to me. So a couple years down the line, I realized there were ways that I could monetize my passion. I could sell products. I could partner with brands. I could do speaking engagements or do events and things like that. There were so many things that you can parlay into once you figure out what your passion is, right? So towards the end of my corporate stint, I realized that I was making about the same amount of money at my 9-to-5 job as I was doing my side hustle. But overall, the income from my side hustle was not consistent. It was up and down. Some months it was up more, some months it was down more. But on average, I was making almost the same as at my 9-to-5. Once I realized that me working at my job was not gonna be sustainable for just my well-being, I started saving, building up a good cushion. I had no idea how things were gonna be financially, so I needed to have that cushion just in case. I knew that I had, at least 6 months to figure things out and make something crack before I would have to maybe go back to trying to find another job. So that's one thing that I would suggest. If you're working at a place that's soul-sucking, that's draining, that's not fulfilling you, think about what your passions are. Think about what you love to do in your free time. Think about what are your areas of true interest. Also, look into ways that you can monetize those things. Once you have figured out what those things are, carve out some time to bang it out, get it done, and build that up while you have that steady income from your job that you eventually want to move on from. So that's how I got into working for myself. Pursued my passions while I was working a 9-to-5. I turned that passion into something that generated income, and I saved so that I would be comfortable enough to quit my job. I quit my job, moved to another part of the country, and I just hit the ground running. I went full steam ahead. And once I had cleared up the time that I was working, I was able to devote more time into my passion, which made it even more lucrative. And now I just can't even fathom making the salary that I was making at that job. Now, outside of vlogging, what do? So I do make videos and content and stuff like that. But aside from that, I do have several businesses that I own and operate, and those just formed organically. Like those, again, these are things that came out of what is my passion? What am I interested in at the time? And it's so crazy because once I started making videos, it started out as me doing one thing, but as the years have gone by, for those of you that have been following me for a long time, you guys have even seen it too. I have discovered so many different areas that interest me, and I will go there and I'm like, oh, I want to do this now. And so that can turn into something great, and that can turn into a business idea. You get inspired and you get these hunches and you get these just big ideas just by going in the direction of your interests. So me, making products or me forming businesses businesses, it came about organically. I really didn't even have to try much or stress myself out much to think about, well, what should I do now? Like, things will come to you when you are truly moving in the direction that you are meant to be in, when you are in alignment with what you actually want. All you have to do is act on your passion. This will move you forward towards your authentic core self. And once you are there, life will start unfolding for you. It maybe sounds cliche, it maybe sounds foo-foo, it maybe sounds unbelievable, but you guys, I swear to you, this is exactly how it happens. I have read and seen of this happening to so many people who are successful when they are just operating in their authentic selves. It moves you forward in life so much quicker than if you try to force things, or if you try to be someone you're not, or if you try to keep yourself in this box where you just know you're never gonna be truly happy in it. And also just try as much as you can to maintain a sense of positivity, a sense of knowing that everything is gonna work out for your good, and knowing what you truly want. That is very important. That's like the first step. And so I was very happy to get this message actually, because so many people, it's like they go through life but they don't even know what they want. But this subscriber, she knows that she wants to work for herself, she wants to create a beautiful life for herself and her children, and she wants the ability to go wherever she wants, whenever she wants. Now for this, I would advise to really take a hard look at your standards, what you want to allow in your life and what you don't want in your life any longer. I know for me, once I saw that I could not afford a house in my previous area on my previous income, I was like, this is not the standard of living that I will tolerate. This is not how I want my life to look. I had this picture in my mind at the time of what I wanted my life to look like, what I wanted the house that I bought to look like, what I wanted the life of my child to look like, as far as what type of schools is she going to, what type of people is she hanging around, what type of neighborhoods is she walking around. And life unfolded even better than what I had imagined back then. But it started with me having standards and knowing what I will tolerate and what I won't tolerate, reaching for more, wanting for more, striving for more, even if it seems impossible. It is not impossible, you guys. I do not come from privilege. I don't come from a privileged background. Everything I paid for myself, never relied on anyone else for handouts or money or anything like that. I've done it all on my own, and the way that I've done it is by just having that knowing. Even back then when I said I didn't have any lofty goals, but I knew I wanted to be like the head honcho, just because I wanted to be at the top and in charge of people. That's what I thought I wanted at the time anyway. And I landed a job that I never even applied for. So that's what I'm talking about. Things like that happen when you have standards. Things like that happen when you might have these outrageous ideas, but if you just reach high, you will be amazed at what comes your way. So currently I live a life where I'm able to set my own schedule. I am my own boss. If I go online and I see a flight deal out of the country somewhere and I want to go next week, I can do that. I'm able to be there for school events that my kids have, like really random school events too, like not even the major ones that you would expect a parent to show up to. I can go to like the really random ones too. I eat amazing foods. I go to amazing places. I'm able to give my children these incredible experiences, and for them to have just a really amazing upbringing, and showing them at the same time that life is absolutely what you make of it. You can go so far if you just follow your dreams, follow what speaks to you. If you have high standards for yourself, just go for it, because it absolutely can happen. And you really don't have to follow this stereotypical American dream lifestyle. You don't have to follow the path that everybody else is following. You can create a lifestyle that is so far outside the realm of that and live a stellar life. But just being in that flow, going in the direction that my heart has led me, it has opened so many doors. It has led to a life where I wake up and I don't feel that dread. Ugh, it's Monday, a new work week. I have to do this, I have to do this. I wake up and I'm like, I get to do these things. I get to live a lifestyle that I had never seen before. I just knew, going along with the trend, graduating, getting a degree, going into corporate America, doing that for years and years and years, it would have absolutely destroyed me. It doesn't gel with me. It wouldn't have afforded me the lifestyle that I wanted. And a lot of times with this, when you're the first person to go off into uncharted territory for what you are surrounded by, it can be very scary, and it can cause you some hesitation in trying to figure out what your next step should be, especially especially when you might have people around you who they may mean well, but they're like, that doesn't sound like it would work, or that just sounds far-fetched. Sometimes you just have to go and not say anything. That has been me. Because that's just how I've always been. But it's also a way that I've found where I take the biggest leaps in life. I take the biggest chances, and those chances, all of them have paid off like so much. You are gonna just have to trust in the process. Like I said, plan, okay? Build up a little bit of a cushion, safety net for yourself, so you do feel more comfortable with going into the unknown. But once you make that choice, jump in fully, hit the ground running and make it happen. And life can just become so wondrous, you guys. You will not regret taking those chances. Even if you stumble, fall a little bit, you will not regret taking those chances. But you will regret staying in this box of just drudging along, living a ho-hum life when you know you want more. And everybody's different though, because there are actually some companies out there are some really good companies out there where people are, thriving, they're happy. So you can absolutely find what you like to do in that corporate structure. You could work somewhere where it just lights you up and it excites you every day and you're so motivated to go there. And I love when I go into businesses or I go into places and people, you can tell they love their jobs. I love coming across good customer service and just good people who enjoy what they do. So, everybody's not cut out to be an entrepreneur or someone who is self-employed. So I'm not saying everybody go out, quit your jobs, okay? If it works for you and you're happy with that, do it. But definitely, in order to live a high quality of life, you really should be looking into what fuels you. That is the direction that you should go in, and that is going to open the doors to live the life that you want. Yeah, that is my story of how I quit corporate America and just went and built a life that resonated with me, that brings me joy every single day. I feel so lucky to wake up in the atmosphere that I'm in and in the headspace that I'm in, and to be able to do so many crazy, amazing things on a regular basis. So anyway, y'all, I'm just looking. I hope I answered this question in full, but we can have more discussions. We can have more life discussions. I'm really down for it. So if you have any other questions or requests, leave them below in the comment section. I'll wade through and maybe I'll get inspired to make another video. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye.